Child, are y'all still curious about what's happening with these couples from Put a Ring on It? Season number 2, we are on episode number 3, Doubling Down. Let's get it. Hi there, Simply Subbies. Welcome back to the Simply Stacy YouTube channel. It's your girl, Stacy. And today we are doing a recap of Put a Ring on It, season number 2. We are on episode number 3 called Doubling Down. And I decided I'd get dressed for the occasion, honey. If you guys saw the previews from last week, Dr. Nicole told the couples that everybody will be going on a date at the same restaurant, honey. So I just said, well, let me put on a little lipstick and a little mini dress, honey. I am ready. I hope you guys are ready. If you guys have already seen episode number 3, let's get to reviewing it. Okay, so we all know everybody going on dates at the same time. Now, I was a little bit confused because I thought we was all going to be there at the same time, honey. But no, they actually had the couples and their partners and their dates at some point. They weren't there at the restaurants all at the same time. Some came first. Somebody came and interrupted them. Not interrupted them, but also arrived. And then the other couple left. So they were not there the entire time, which is probably a much better situation, honey, because that's just kind of awkward. Not your ex, but your current boo, your current boyfriend, your current girlfriend, and their current date. It's a whole lot, but I'm like, okay, Dr. Nicole. Dr. Nicole said if you trust your partner and you trust yourself, you'll be fine. So, I mean, what are they going to do? You guys are all in the same place. They know that they have eyes watching them. You would think everybody would be on their absolutely best behavior and, but let's see how that went. So anyway, everybody is like, oh my goodness, they kind of like, this going to be a little bit nervous. So everyone is getting a new date with the exception of Darian. Remember, he is Smoke from Phil Mob and he's dating Alexia and they've been together for 14 years. He dated old girl Kaya with the body yaddy yaddy the last week and he still likes it. He still wants to get to know her more and they'll be going on their second date. Okay, so the first week was the guys went on dates. The second week the ladies went on dates. And week number 3, we all going on dates if you ask me. So anyway, Eric and Jessica were up first. Jessica has on this black, I want to say like a leotard from my dance days. Like, like bodysuit, but all the way down to your legs. So like a one-piece jumpsuit, tight, fitted. It's a leotard. That's just what I can call it. You guys know what I'm talking about. So, it fit all her curves quite nicely. And Eric says that he wants the date to teach him how to engage. But he does know that relinquishing is kind of tough. He tells her it's hard seeing her, go out on these dates and stuff like this. Leave the house and go out on dates. And she tells him, oh, just behave, They kiss and, her date actually shows up at the house. Now, this week, Eric it seems like, I'm going to be honest now, I don't know if he putting on for the cameras or what, but it seems like Eric is getting a little bit more into the process. He's maturing a little. Remember last week when her date, Randon showed up, he closed the door in the man's face, told him he was at the wrong house, honey. But this time he tells Jessica, you go open the door. Her date comes up. His name is Clarence, and now he is a looker. I'll be honest, he's like very muscular, very built. I feel like him and Eric are very, very similar, which means Jessica definitely likes Clarence. He just has a little bit more hair. Now, Eric is wearing his hair really low, but you can tell that he's kind of balding, and so it's not all there. But the guy Clarence had, a fade, but then he had like a few braids. Not long braid. Y'all know the new trends or whatever the kids be wearing these days with their haircuts. But he definitely had more hair. Buff, nice looking young man. And he comes into the house. He says he's a bodybuilder. And he's definitely giving me Eric vibes. So Eric lets her open the door now. That was something different, honey. She brings them up. They, introduce one another. He tells her to have fun and to be safe. Jessica says that she's kind of shocked. She feels like she has the freedom to just enjoy herself and enjoy the experience right now because Eric is being so chill and so cool. And maybe it's because he has a date going on as well today. And maybe because he knows he's also going to be where Jessica is at some point today. Okay, so then they go on to the next couple, which is Sean and Laronda. And he walks in to her in a room and she's ironing, but she's ironing his jeans, but she's looking cute too. Remember, I kept saying her and Jessica, that actually gives looks, honey. I was like, I sure hope that Alexia brings it this week because last week I just feel like she was kind of mediocre in her style. For a date anyway. I think she wasn't trying so hard. Which you don't have to try too hard, but try. But she was all right, whatever. They went to a batting cage, so I guess she was appropriately dressed. But everybody else last week had on their little tight mini dresses and they was going about their business, honey. But she wasn't really doing that. But I will say her date was a little different. So anyway, we on Laronda and Sean. And if y'all recall last week, honey, Sean had a whole hyperventilation. He got sick to his stomach. He just couldn't take Laronda being out on this date. She's like, I just feel like he doesn't trust me, all this stuff. But what I'm going to tell y'all is he gives very insecure vibes, immature vibes, and it's very, very unattractive. I don't know what Laronda see, but honey, he is getting on my nerves. So anyway, she's doing his ironing his jeans. He walks in, peeps in, sees her, closes the door like a puppy dog and turns around and walks out. And he comes back in. She's like, what is it? Now she looking cute because she's ready for her day, honey. She has on what did she have? Oh, she had on a little dress. It was cute. He says, why you had that on? She was like, what you mean? I got on a dress for my date. He like, well, it looks a little bit short. Sir, calm down, because you already know how she dressed, so I don't understand why this is an issue. Not to mention, you already know you're going to be in the same place, so it's not even a big deal. So then he does go ahead and tell her that she looks good, and that, his day is going to be excited because she got him looking fresh in his jeans that she's ironed. And she's like, well, she ain't going to realize I got this wrinkle that I left in here, joking around or whatever. So anyway, Laronda's date pulls up. His name is Sir James, honey, and he is like, what do they call LeBron James? I don't know. Sir? I feel like they call him Sir something too. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know that much. But anyway, King James. King James. Now we got Sir James. Sir James shows up. He's a tall drink of handsome water. He is very attractive. He started, yeah, honey, I wrote he tall and handsome. And so Laronda thinks the exact same thing. And when I say Sean is a shorty, he is so short. Not that it's a bad thing, because I think Laronda is just a tad bit taller than him in heels. But she is not taller than Sir James. So again, Sean is being this so super duper annoying. If I was Laronda, I'd be like, listen, son, chill out. You doing the absolute most. So he's like, yeah, basically, hey, this is, because I think he opened the door for Sir James. This is Laronda. This is my lady. This is my queen. This is my, you doing too much, sir. We all know that I'm going on a date with your girl. Just tell me her name. He was just being extra possessive at this point. This is my queen, this is my lady. Basically, he being super territorial. And, Sir James picked up on the vibe. He didn't really play into it much. But, yeah, he was being really jealous and insecure, you could tell. So, he was like, well, what brings you here? What brought you here? This is Sean talking to Sir James to take part of this experience. He's like, well, it's something new. You never know where you'll find love. Here go Sean. Well, you ain't gonna find it here. Sir, the question should be what brought you here, because you're the one in a relationship, sir, and you're on a dating show. You're dating someone else, and so is she. And then he gonna say, well, you ain't gonna find it here. Okay, if you that concerned and you get sick to your stomach every time this lady go on a date, then marry her already. I don't understand what the problem is. You say you done wrote your proposal speech, you ready, you just waiting on some money. I feel like that's an excuse, just like Laronda said at this point. So the one thing, I was like, okay, Laronda, now, she put her glasses on. She had her glasses on at the house, and I thought she was going to keep them on the entire time. So, like, I wear glasses on a daily basis, but when, I go out or something, I want to be cute, I put my little contacts in, do my little makeup. But she had on, like, these big black glasses. They were nice glasses, and I mean, it's fine to wear glasses on a day, but I was like, I wonder why she's doing this. So in my mind, I'm all like, she doing this so Sean don't feel all insecure about her going on this date. But she did take those glasses off. She did not actually wear them on a date, but when she did meet Sir James, she did have her glasses on, and I just thought that was odd. But maybe she doesn't wear contacts, and so maybe she wears her glasses, until she leaves or something like that. Because she was made up and dressed and everything when Sir James arrived at the house. So anyway, they get on to their little date because it's kind of super awkward at this point when he's like, "You not gonna find love here, sir." Sir James. Anyway, she was like, okay, well, you never know, baby. This is what this process is about. Like, she just was like, it was awkward. And she just felt like she had to say something, but not dispel Sir James's idea that she could possibly be interested in him or something. She was just like, well, baby, you never know. That's why we in this experience or whatever. And then they, basically leave. She's like, it really doesn't feel good. It feels like she has to walk on eggshells. Like, he's just doing too much. And what he doesn't know is he probably pushing her behind the way, honey. Especially this Sir James, honey. Because Sir James is a looker. That's all I'm saying. He's a nice looking man. Sean, I guess he could be nice looking, I guess. But Sir James got a foot on him, at least, in height. So Sean is just like, you know what? Be cool. And Sir James is like, well, she's in good hands. And he was like, well, that's fine, because I'm going to beat her too. So I'm going to make sure. So I'm like, Sean, calm down, dude. You're just making everything more awkward than it needs to be, honey. So next up, Laronda, they pan to Laronda, and she's talking to the confessional. She was like, you know what? I already know Sean's insecurities, and I already know it's going to be problems. Like, he coming on his date. She already know what it's going to be. She's already prepared for it. So he tells her, like, don't have too much fun. And then in his confessional, he's saying, I have major trust issues. And, shit just got real, basically. So, like, okay, Sean, we get it, but I feel like you definitely shouldn't have signed up for this show. I don't know if it was Laronda's idea or your idea, but either way, honey, this was not it. And he's an actor and a comedian. So, I wonder if this was, part of his ploy to, get popular or famous. Because, a lot of people be doing it these days on these dating shows, reality shows, because he's in entertainment. He loves to say that. So, anyway, first to arrive at the restaurant is Sir James and Laronda. And she's excited. She says, oh, he's tall, he's fine. They bond over flag football. He tells her on the weekends this is what I do. I'm on the flag football team. And I guess she was like, well, how do you know you're ready? And he was basically saying he's been ready. A lot of his friends are married. He goes over to their house, plays with their kids. He just knows that he's ready to be in a relationship that leads to marriage. And, that's where Laronda and Sean he said he wanted to marry her, but he just ain't ready and all this stuff. So she I ain't gonna be here forever. And he listen, I gotta save some money for a ring, I guess, or a wedding or whatever. So anyway, she said she used to play flag football too. So, they bond over that. They both athletic and all this stuff. So next, Sean's date, Brittany arrives. And I think he meets her outside of the restaurant, actually. They meet up. He can pick her up. She's a cute girl. I think she has long braids. She gives me Laronda vibes. She's taller than him, so Sean is like, okay, well, she's pretty and she's taller than me, so that always made me feel like a boss. So here we go again. Sean definitely has a Napoleon complex. I knew that from the very beginning, honey. Wait, is that Oedipus? Not the one where he like his mama, but the one where he's short and he just, do all this extra stuff. So he's like, yeah, it made me feel like a boss when he dating somebody that's taller than him, I guess. So, did she have locks or braids? I can't remember. Anyway, she had something going on. He asked her for a hug when she was trying to shake his hand. So I'm like, okay, maybe he opened it up or whatever. He did say she was very beautiful. So Sean opens the door for Brittany. They walk in. He definitely sees Laronda and Sir James already there on their date. And Sean and Brittany sit down and they start to talk, and she's a singer. So they do bond a little bit about being, he loves to bring this up. Like, he's a creative, but my girl, she a corporate type. He did a lot of talking about his girl. I can't say that Laronda was initially talking about him, but he does come in and it's a little bit awkward. And how they have them seated is that the couples are actually facing one another and their dates are facing away. So that the dates aren't necessarily looking at the other partners, but the partners are looking at one another and they can both see their dates from their vantage points. That was about it. You could tell Sean was too focused on what Laronda was over there doing, and Laronda was having a good time, honey. All you could hear her say was like, is it time for shots or whatever? Listen, she was turned up. So her and Sir James ordered shots. Sean just looking over there, like peering at her, glancing. And Brittany, like, is there a problem? Like looking around, like she already know the girl there. And I think before he actually walked in to open the door for her, he did let her know that his girl would be there. And she was like, oh wow, like shock face. But at least he let her know beforehand, so she already knew what was going on. And I think when they walked in, he did maybe point her out and say, that's my girlfriend. But anyway, so he just can't focus, honey. He talking some, I just really wasn't paying attention. She like, is there a problem? He like, she just being loud for no reason. She don't even be loud like that. I'm like, Sean, pay attention to your day, please, sir. Please and thank you. Because you probably not really her type anyway. And you really not making this better. But okay. So Laronda says, she letting loose. Her and Sir James is having a good time. He's a cool dude. And she's like, let's get out of here. Basically like, let's leave. So that's when I noticed like, oh, okay. So they're not there the entire day. Because remember, they had some time there by themselves. And so now she's going to leave so Sean and Brittany can actually bond and not focus on them. So as they're leaving out, and I was like, I know Sir James did this on purpose, but he does place his hand like on the smell of her back. Some guys do that on dates. Now, she's a taken woman. Sean didn't like that at all. She got on this little mini dress. Sean did not like that at like he is kind of fuming inside and not paying attention to Brittany at all. He can no longer focus on his date. It's just too much, actually. So anyway, now we move on to Darian. And so Darian, remember, he going on his second date with Kai. So he must have scooped her up, honey, because they are in the car. They're driving. He does, she's like, you happy to see me? He like, yeah, I'm happy to see you. But, I got to let you know something, like, Alexia gonna be here on this day. And she like, oh my God, this gonna be something. Because, she's met her at the house before. But this day second date, and she's just like, ugh, I don't want to be nobody's side chick. And I'm not. I never have. I'm not about to be somebody's side chick. So I don't even want to be treated like that on this here day, honey. I don't know what she thinking this thing is, but she should know that she is technically a side chick during this process until if he decides that he wants to be with her instead of Alexia. But anyway, she got all these reservations about being considered the side chick on this date or whatever. We're back to Jessica and Clarence because remember they left the house next. So they arrive at the date. So this is when I finally realized that all the couples are not there at the same time, honey. So I guess I didn't have to get dressed up for this date because we ain't all there at the same time. So Jessica and Clarence come. I guess their reservation was a little later or a different day or something. They come in. They're having a good time. She's like, oh, he's big and he got a lot of muscles. Like, she is loving it. She is liking everything she sees. And, she asked him, like, what does he look? He asked her, what does she look for? She's like open and honest and kind of transparent. And he says, yeah, I hate arguing. She's like, before, it turns up. And he was like, yeah, I hate arguing. I basically will just shut down. I'm more like, when you want to talk, come talk to me. Like, we can talk about it, but I'm not an arguer. She like, you know what? I could definitely respect that. But basically, she's like, she want all the other stuff before things explode. And Yeah, so he was like, well, I know not to, you know, take things too far, so that I don't want you exploding or anything like that. She says that they're vibing, and he definitely wants to get to know her more. Said he likes her smile, you know, he compliments her, and, you know, she's all blushing or whatnot, honey. Then Eric meets his date, Tanisha. I thought they said Taisha the whole time, but he kept calling her Tanisha instead of Taisha. So I don't really know what the girl's name is, but I'm going to assume he had her name right. But the whole time I'm cracking up, I'm like, sir, you don't even know her name. So anyway, I say she's similar to Jessica in like complexion, like I think like hair type. Did she have natural? I can't remember now. Anyway, she was a really cute girl. However, she was very much more curvy, curvaceous. I'm not going to say plus size, but you know, in American standards, they may call her plus size. So she was definitely more voluptuous. Jessica's kind of fit and slender. She's curvy, but she's very small. So, I mean, outside of that, they were very, very similar. Similar features, skin tone, all that kind of stuff. Then they actually walk into the restaurant. Jessica kind of gets distracted a little bit. And Eric, you could see he beelines. He sees Jessica as soon as he walks in. But they go to their seat. They sit down. She seems a little bit caught off guard. It kind of stumbles over her words a little bit. Jessica does. But Eric sits down with Tanisha. And once they're seated, you know, he says, you know, that's my girl over there right there. She's like, oh, which one? The one in that dress right there? He like, yeah. And she's like, oh, she's pretty, which was very nice of her to say. So again, she knows that his date is there. And Clarence knows also when she walks in, he's like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. I don't think Jessica mentioned it beforehand. But he met him at the house. So he knew that was her boyfriend when they walked in. And she does ask Clarence at some point, like, what do you think about him being here? He was like, actually, I forgot. Like, let's talk. Let's keep talking. Like, so she does actually end up focusing on her date again. And then kind of, it's just a little bit awkward. So Clarence is like, you want to leave? And she's like, yeah. So with Jessica, she says she wants trust. Trust and communication, because that's what they have issues with in her current relationship. So when Eric tells Taisha or Tanisha that that's his girl, you know, she has to ask a little bit of questions like, oh, okay, so like, since you brought her up, how did y'all get in this? And he says that she has trust and communication issues. They both do the communication part, but she has trust issues. And so this girl has the nerve to tell him, you know, I don't know what it is, but like when somebody gets taken, they become more attractive. Girl. So while Kai does not want to give off side chick vibes, this chick is all about the side chick vibes, apparently. He's like, you know, why is that? And so she's like, well, you know, if somebody else like them, then, you know, it just make you want to like them more. I'm like, oh yeah, she definitely did marry me. I don't know this for certain, guys. It's not a fact. Allegedly, no. But I mean, just that like, girl, what? Anyway, so, you know, Jessica and them leave. Eric is loud. He's taking shots. He's literally paying Jessica and Clarence no attention. So that makes Jessica definitely feel away. Anyway, they get on up and they leave. So Eric is still there. He's having this good conversation with old girl. And then next up, it is time for Darian and Kai. So they're still in the car. And he says he hopes he can focus on her. But it's nearly impossible to do so. Alexia will be showing up at some point. So they go to the restaurant they're eating now. The other couple was already gone again. And then Alexia meets her guy outside. So it looked like she met her guy too. She didn't get a ride. She didn't get picked up or anything like that. She brought a look today, guys. She has on this sheer black blouse, this mini black leather skirt, and like this fedora with the red bottom, black fedora with the red bottom heels. Alexia looks good. I said, okay, girl, you got it together. You're really here for this date. And then her date actually pulls up. And I'm going to be honest, her guy Smoke or Darian is really, really tall. Now, he's not that attractive to me, but he's really tall. You know, she's a basketball player. So her other date is not as tall. He kind of short, if you ask me. Well, no, I mean, he's short for her type. So I was like, dang, he not her type. I really want her to find somebody that's her type so that she could really enjoy the process because, listen, Darian done found his type, honey, and it is Kai. So anyway, the guy's name is Desi, and he's not that attractive to me either. He has dreadlocks, they're in a high ponytail. I mean, he's put together and all that. And I mean, he could be attractive because Darian is not all that attractive either. So she might like it, but he is kind of shorter than him. Kai, she's dressed pretty modestly. She has on this like long midi yellow dress. It may have a kind of a pattern to it or animal print or something. I can't remember. But you know, I feel like she looked like she was going to Sunday brunch. But, you know, she has a body, so it's fitted and it hugs her curves. But Alexia is giving looks. So I feel like she won that battle today. So anyway, while they sitting there on the date, Kai and Desi walk in. She asked him, you know, what's going through his head. And he said, you know, or he asked her what's going through her head. Because she did say that this is my boyfriend, he's in here. No, she points to the table like, do you recognize him? And he's like, oh, Smoke, from that dude from Film Mob. So apparently somebody does know who he is. I had no idea, but apparently somebody knows. And she was like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. He's like, oh, okay. And she's like, I guess told him the whole story about the 14 years and all this stuff. She's like, how you feel? He asked Kai asked Darian how he feels because as soon as Alexis came in, he just could not focus on the day. He couldn't focus on Kai. He just was fumbling over his words. It just wasn't like Kai could feel the vibe. And she was like, you just seem uncomfortable. He's like, I'm uncomfortable, you know. It's just overwhelming and like all this stuff. He like couldn't get it together, honey. He was like, I just can't eat. She's like, you must not be hungry. He was like, yeah, you know, I kind of lost my appetite. And he tells Kai that you intimidate her. And she was like, who? He's like, Alexia. And I'm like, sir, why are you even talking about Alexia? First of all, the lady is in the room, and I just feel like if y'all go these days, just talk about what y'all want to know about these people and stop talking about y'all relationship and downplaying and then bashing it and all this stuff. Like, you've been dating for 14 years, and now you want to tell her that some other woman tell some other woman that she intimidates her. And she was like, well, why? Is she a hater? And he like, no, she not no hater. Like, you know, she just know what I like. So basically saying you are what I like and she knows it. So you intimidate her because she think I'm going to leave her for you. Basically, that's all that was about. So next up, Alexia, you know, she was having a good time on her date for the most part. She said it was cool to, you know, be complimented by another man because Desi was like, oh, you look good. Like, he was complimenting her and you could tell he was attracted to her the whole time. And, you know, she likes that, but I still don't think she was actually feeling him. She does start talking about Darian and all this stuff. And the dude was talking to confessional, like, she talk a lot about her ex, like, that's stringing her along, basically. She's like, you think he's stringing me along? And all this stuff. It was just too much. And then her boyfriend, Darian, could not take it. He was like, I gotta go. Kyle was like, you want to get out of here? So they get ready to go, girl. As soon as they stand up, Kai grabs Darian's hands and kind of like drags him out of there like, let's just go. But of course they have to walk past Desi and Alexia, which catches Alexia all off guard because now they holding hands, honey, walking up out of here. And she was like, we gonna let hands go. We gonna let hands go loud. So now it's awkward for her dates because you just sitting here talking to them. It was a whole lot. And Darian trying to hold his hand like this, like, look, I'm not holding her hand. She holding my hand. She got my hand. It's cool. It was a whole lot. And she was like, I probably shouldn't have said nothing to Alexia. But she felt away. And I just feel like he's rude and disrespectful. Because even if the girl grabbed your hand, you should have let it go and be like, you know what? We're not about to do that in here. My girl is actually sitting right there. Like, that's rude. He could have stopped it. You can't just be like, she got my hand, see? Like, childish. Much. Darian, you, So annoying. Of course, Alexia feels disrespected and all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, even if you wanted another day with this man, he don't want no more dates with you. This is just too much at this point. So now Jessica is home already when Eric arrives. You know, he done been having a good time and drinking with the girl and all this stuff. Lord, he comes in, he's all smashed. She's like, well, dang, did you have a good time? He like, yeah, I had a good time. Like, this was actually the best conversation I've ever had. I'm like, dang, Eric, spare her feelings much? He like, this is the best conversation. Like, it's just so much. And she was like, dang, I thought we had good conversations. He was like, I mean, yeah, but not this one. She's like, well, what makes it different? He was like, the depth. So basically, he is up here saying that the conversation was just going shallow and they not even real good conversations, apparently, because he is just like very much being disrespectful. I think it is, you know. She's like, Dad, why you saying all that? He was like, what, you want me to lie to you? She was like, well, yeah, a little bit. Don't play it up all the way like it's the best thing ever. He was like, no, but what I'm saying is like, we talked about everything and, you know, I forgot you was even there. It was like it was an empty room. I just got engulfed in our conversation. I'm like, dude, you're not making this good at all. I'm like, y'all not in a good place. And he was like, you know, it was nice to have something more than attraction or more than like sex or whatever. So basically, he's like, Jessica, you got shallow conversation and all we got in common is that we're sexually attracted to each other. I was like, this is not good. So Jessica like is really upset. She's crying. She like, I already bet that, you know, I got it. I got you, whatever you talking about. Okay, so in the group couples therapy, Dr. Nicole basically, you know, asks, how was it? And they're like, interesting, amazing, great. You know, different people are saying different things. And then she says, great. I hope you guys trust your partner and address your insecurities. And the first couple to go is Laronda and Sean. So Sean was like, it was real cool, but he was just hearing more of Laronda and her date's conversation, so he couldn't really focus on his date with Brittany. He says, but I don't think, and this is why I really don't like him. And I'm like, maybe he was trying to be a comedian, but he just came off real like insecure and it's not attractive. I'm like, ugh. He was like, I don't even think she liked that dude. I mean, he was so tall. He wasn't even handsome. Like, you know, dude you chose for her. I don't think that's a thing. So I'm like, again, you're also trying to put seeds into her mind to let her know. Because remember last week, she didn't pick a second date with her guy because she was like, well, yeah, I liked him. I had a good time. But I know how Sean will feel since he got sick. So I think that you are manipulating her by saying all this stuff like, yeah, I don't think, you know, you don't want that dude and all that stuff. And so I'm like, first of all, is you blind? Are you blind, sir? Because Sir James was very attractive and very handsome. And she clearly was into Sir James. That's why she was having a good time on her date and you couldn't focus on yours. Number two, was you watching the same date I was watching, sir? Because she had fun. Number three, stop trying to make her choose what you want her to choose because you're jealous and you think she might actually leave you for that dude. 4, your insecurities are super duper and unattractive. Like, nobody wants an insecure dude. And 5, you just a hater. Basically, Sean is he gets the biggest hater award for this episode. And he's like, yeah, he got big muscles and a nice car. She don't even like that. Sorry, because you don't have that going for yourself. Now, I think Sean works out. He's muscular or whatever. But maybe he don't drive a nice car since he's trying to, you know, save up for this ring or whatever. But anyway, I think he kind of was trying to be a comedian, but it definitely didn't come off as a comedian. It came off as him being honest and manipulative and trying to discourage her from picking old dude again. Dr. Nicole says, oh, that sounds like tactical control. And I'm like, yes, Dr. Nicole, that is exactly where I was getting at. Like, Sean, you're trying to make her not choose him. So you're going to tell her everything you don't like about dude in this joking manner so that she could be like, well, I know Sean will feel away, so I'm not going to pick him. Sean mentions, yeah, and then he put his hand on the small of her back. And she was like, well, I didn't feel it. And if he did, like, it wasn't nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, you gonna tell me I didn't see it? So here again with his jealousy, dude, they didn't do anything. You were there at the restaurant. He did put his hand on the small of her back, but she didn't do that. He did that. She didn't do that. Like, it's too much. I'm like, Sean, calm down. Laronda says it's super exhausting, you know, with Sean. He doesn't trust her. And Dr. Nicole definitely says that something is wrong with his filter. Like, you see things how you want to see them and you make it out to be something that is totally not, but it's broken. Your filter is basically broken. And in my mind, Sean needs more than just the couples therapy. I think he needs, and I said it last week, he needs his own individual therapy. There's nothing wrong with getting it, but you have some underlying issues that you definitely need to address because you're projecting stuff that's not necessarily there. Okay, so next up is Darian and Alexia. So Alexia said Desi was cool. Basically, he was definitely trying to shoot his shot. He didn't really care that Darian was there. She does bring up the hand holding between him and the other girl. So now what I will say here is I'm not going to say she was super jealous and insecure like Sean was, because what the guy Sergeant James did was touch the small of her back. That was nothing she initiated. She took part in. She couldn't control that, and she didn't know that was going to happen. And he was leading her out, which is just a maneuver that a lot of men just do, just off of, you know, the top of their head, not even thinking like, oh, she got a man, I can't do this. And it wasn't like she said, oh, put your hand here. Now, in other cases, Darian was being rude and disrespectful because you let her hold your hand. You continue to, you walk out of there in front of your girlfriend with her holding your hand. So I feel like that's a different scenario. And I'm not trying to do, what do you call it, double standards, anything like that. But I think he was disrespectful. He could have let the hand go. He took part in the hand holding. Okay. And he was like, well, she was holding my hand. Here you go again. She was holding my hand. So Darian even had the nerve to say that Alexia embarrassed Kai in front of the whole restaurant. But sir, if you wouldn't have been holding her hand, you wouldn't have had those problems. So I don't got no sympathy for him and or Kai, because she also held his hand knowing his girlfriend was right there. And it was just rude and disrespectful. So Kai, you was doing what you was doing, trying not to be the side chick, trying to look like you were the main chick. But Alexia did admit that she should not have said anything. She should have just focused on her date. Because that's what Dr. Nicole said. So what would have happened if you didn't say anything? You just focused on your date. She's like, yeah, you know, you're right. I probably shouldn't have, but I did. So Dr. Nicole says they aren't trusting the process because you still setting all these boundaries and y'all still too focused on, you know, what the other person is doing. And that was that. So next up was Eric and Jessica. Eric says that Tanisha just kept his focus. He didn't realize nobody else was in the room. He had the best conversation. It was just amazing. And then he says, you know, Jessica's conversations with him are missing depth. That was so rude and disrespectful. And I know he had said that to her before, but he said it in a room with all them people. And I was just like, dude, you just saying you slid into her DM because she looked fine. You slid into her DM because she's cute and sexy and got a good body. But now you got a problem with that and you want something else. He said that now Tanisha was not his normal type, like body type, physical attraction. But it was just the conversation was so good. It drew him in. And he learned something that is not always about the look. So again, taking pot shots at dang Jessica, in my opinion. So Jessica said she never heard him speak so highly of another woman, especially in front of her. And it's just very, very hurtful, which I could understand where she's coming from. She says she thought they've had great conversations and maybe she was wrong. Dr. Nicole says, Jessica, how does that make you feel that he's definitely intrigued by his date's conversation? He was like, well, actually, that's all he had to go on because basically she downplaying the girl's looks. Now, she was attractive, but I guess she knows him and what he likes. She's like, so that's all he really had to go on was her looks because, you know, all he usually be thinking about is sex and all this stuff. So she basically was just like, this was his one thing that he could like focus on. So Dr. Nicole was like, Jessica, here you go again, adding your own interpretation to stuff. You know, you just make up this in your head and then that's what it is. Like, he only could like her conversation because she didn't look good, basically, kind of what she was saying. But the girl was a cute girl for sure. She just was curvy. So next up, they get to ask, are you guys going to stay with these people and go on a third or second date, or are you going to pick new people? So Darian says, of course, he won a third date with Kai. He thinks he needs a do-over. The date just was not good. It was a mess. So that's that. You know, that don't make Alexia happy. And she says she's going to do a new date, which I knew because she wasn't really into Desi like that anyway. She says she wasn't attracted to him, and I could see that. So I just want her to find somebody that she actually likes. So one, Darian can be a little bit jealous or real too. And then next up was Eric. He said he want a new date too because, again, he needs somebody he's attracted to. So although she had the best conversation ever in the world, he don't want her. So it's not just about more than looks, because you still focus on the looks, because you could have got to like her too, but you didn't. So he said he need more attraction than just the mental. Next up was Jessica, and she said, yes, I would like a second date with Clarence. Now, I know she liked Clarence, so Eric better watch out, honey, because she's actually making connections, even though you make her feel bad about not being deep in conversation. Next up was Laronda, and she wants to express how she feels, but she feels like Sean will feel extremely hurt. So that means she definitely wants another day with Sir James. However, again, she's considering Sean's feelings, and I hope she trusts the process and she stops doing that, because I was annoyed with that last week, but I think Sir James is definitely better than that dude she was with last week, so I think she should not let this thing go. So I'm annoyed that she's even super concerned, but I mean, it's her man, so whatever. So anyway, Sean is talking to the confessional, and he's basically like, you know, she means the world to me, and, you know, this is not a game we really want to play because it could be dangerous, so she shouldn't pick. Oh boy, he's so freaking annoying. There's a cliffhanger, and we have to see if Laronda actually picks the second date with Sir James. But that concludes this episode. Listen, I want Sean to get it together. I want Laronda to do what she needs to do to trust the process. And yes, thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for this. We have another one coming up. I'm a little late on this one. The new episode just aired, just aired, I guess, recently, or is going to air Friday. I don't know. Either way, I got to get this up to you guys. But please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Please share my videos, share the knowledge, share the wealth. We talk about success, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, pop culture. Definitely do dating shows and reality show recaps and reviews. And yes, thank you guys for coming. Until next time, see ya.